Well, Jim, 2 draws since we last spoke against Chesterfield and Solihull, but 2 very different performances from County. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I suppose so. The Chesterfield game seems so long ago now. But it was really important that we put in a really purposeful performance on Tuesday night. League's really important to us, and it was really important we come back from the disappointment of going out of the cup to look after our #1 target. And for me, Solihull Moors have shown that they're going to be one of the best teams in it. So we kind of played it as a cup final in itself, and it turned out to be that way. A real big challenge for us, and a great game of football. Only surprised it ended up 0-0.
I suppose one of the most pleasing aspects about that was a clean sheet, though. It was only our second one of the season so far. When you consider that it came without Ash Palmer, Lois Maynard, Mark Kitchen, you must be really pleased with that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned some players that have been key to the kind of the physical and defensive strength of the team, but I think that you can't underestimate the part that the forwards play. Clean sheets generally come from good pressure from the front, all the layers in between, last ditch clearing off the line, last ditch 1v2 situation that stand out. But and the same way when you play up the pitch, often you need your defenders to play more football, bring the ball up the pitch and deliver better balls to the midfielders and the forwards. So I thought in that sense there's more of a complete performance between our team at the moment. I think the team overall, especially the defenders and the wing backs and the midfielders, deserved a clean sheet. And like I said, when we look at all the stats, even the Torquay game, we're disappointed we've not won games. So I think last year when we were perhaps a little bit less strong, we still played as a team and we pinched games and took out of games what we could take out of them. I think this time round we look good value for the points we've got, and we look capable of picking up more in games. So that's a really positive sign going forward.
And just on those players that did miss out on Tuesday through injury and illness, how many of them are you expecting to have fit this Saturday?
Well, Lois is trained today, so again, it's always difficult to fully assess players with sort of slight niggles. Sometimes if it's a joint, it's just about pain management. Sometimes if it's a muscle, you have to be very cautious. But he's trained today and come through okay. Mark Kitchen is improving with every day, and he did physical work today, running, but didn't do any football. But we're quite confident he'll be fit for tomorrow to train. And if he comes through tomorrow with no problems, then it's another good addition to the group. Ash Palmer, we're confident it's only a cold and it's just a question of how he feels and symptoms. So we're just managing that one. At the next 24 hours is important for him, because I think it'd be important for him to eat well, get the all clear, and to be able to train tomorrow to be in place for Saturday. But like Connor, we'll give him all the way up to 2 o'clock on Saturday to declare himself available for the 16, if not the 11. So they're the players that we were hopefully being back, and we're quietly confident they will be back. If we don't have them all, I'm still fairly confident the group we've got will have enough about them based upon what I've seen on Tuesday night's performance.
You've spoken in the past about players making it almost impossible for you to drop with their performances. Is Ryan Crowell still in that category now after his performance on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think that again we've been wanting to work him into the team, and regardless of Lois' injury, it was we wanted to play him from the start and then see how it lasted, and so he did far better than we could have hoped. And I say that in the sense of, I know he's a good football, but for the first game in a long period of time, it was and against such a difficult opposition, it was a fantastic debut, and it's a real boost for us, I think, in terms of a player of that quality. There's no ego, top lad, he's tactically aware, he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't think I had to give him one instruction during the game or after the game, because he did everything impeccably right for a midfielder. So really pleased with his performance, and I'm sure he'll be buzzing and looking forward to doing the same again on Saturday. And I think it's a huge plus for us. We've been slowly getting to grips with the way we want to play. We've been starting to work the ball through the +1 at the back. But when teams stop that, we need to be able to go through the extra one in midfield, and I think that having Ryan and John and Keno and Lois available to play through that section of pitch and to give us all the aspects of the midfield play, I think is a real boost for us.
It's Weymouth up next at the weekend. What sort of challenge are you expecting from them? Because when you look at the fixtures, the games they have lost this season have all only been by 1 goal. Are you expecting another close game on Saturday?
Yeah, I would be surprised if it wasn't. You know, you can look throughout the league. There's going to be the odd game where somebody takes a real grip of the game and goes on, or somebody's chasing to get back in the game and concedes a second, third or fourth goal. But they don't seem that sort of side. They seem well organised. I like the way they play. You know, whether it be I'd call it a fluid 4-3-3. You know, they can play the 4-2-3-1. They can push one of the wide men up. They can push one of the midfielders into the attacking midfield line. So they've got all that, and they'll be a difficult team to play through. They work really hard, full of good, young, energetic players. You know, so they're going to be similar to Wilston. I think once they get going and find their feet, they could cause teams a few problems. As you mentioned, the first 3 or 4 games they lost by the 1-0 margin, slimmest of margins. They probably started to work on building a bit of confidence and committing more players to the forward line. So they're starting to score more, but unfortunately conceding more. So if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have thought this has got a really tight game. But maybe with the way that the previous couple of games have gone, where there's been 5 goals in each game, it could be a little bit more open and expansive than maybe we could imagine.
Just looking a bit further ahead, obviously after Saturday there's a 10-day rest, and then the rest of November we go away to Notts County, Dagenham and Hartlepool, and also play Eastleigh at home. It's a really tough month ahead for the side, isn't it? Yeah,
but we knew that when we looked at fixtures. I think sometimes when you look at the start of the season, you'd have thought, well, that looks, you'd expect Hartlepool to be competitive, Notts County. But the way that Eastleigh have started, but if you look at now, you know, we've played I think 3 of the top 7 teams, and acquitted ourselves really well in those games. We've also played the likes of Chesterfield, another full-time side. Really, you know, they expect to be higher up in the pitch. So I think if you look at any month, they've all got their difficulties. I think this particular one's got the difficulty of having to play away on a Wednesday to a team like Notts County, and then to have to play away on a Saturday down in London, and then Hartlepool away. But I think that the way that we're built now, we wouldn't have any fears wherever we go of being able to be competitive and pick up points. So as I said to the lads before the Tuesday game, this is a real benchmark for us. This is a team that I expect to be in the top 3 or 4. If we can show what we're about against this sort of team, we'll know whether we're going to be a team that flirts with the top or a team that's going to be there consistently. And I think coming away from Tuesday night, especially with the group of players that we had available, I was really pleased, and I felt that, you know, we're going to sustain this. And but I think that month in particular, because we'll get to the 10-game mark, where, you know, there will not be like a freak run of fixtures where you had all the weaker teams, or you particularly had a good run of fixtures. I think we'll have a fair assessment at the end of that month, and I'm quietly confident that we'll come through that with another chunk of points, and hopefully we're still in as good a position as we are now, if not stronger.
And just finally, Jim, if they play on Saturday, it'll be Ash Palmer's 100th game for County and Ben Hinchlife's 200th. They've been great servants for the club down the years, haven't they?
Been brilliant. I mean, when I came in and I picked up these 2 players, I thought they would be huge for us in the season, or for the period in which they were contracted. And but they've just grown. Their consistency and professionalism. I mean, what stands out for those players in particular, and I include Matty Warburton with it, is that when we won the National League North, we got 3 teams in the Team of the Year, and it was the 3 part-time players that were supposedly part-time, only training on Tuesday and Thursday. But as I say, it's not just about the 2 hours you do on a day; it's about the other 22 hours what you do. And these guys are impeccable professionals. They look after themselves, do everything right, and every time they come to the game, you know you're going to get 100% from them. And really pleased that both of them have got this milestone now. It's always a shame that the fans are not there to enjoy it, but yeah, it's a significant step for them. We've had and massive step for them to move from the part-time straight into the full-time, and just goes to show you their professionalism, that they haven't had a flinch, an incident, apart from obviously a cold or 2, but both of them have been great servants, and I expect them to be really strong servants for this year and next year. So I'm looking forward to see how far they can go with us.
Great stuff, Jim. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.